Welcome back, Wolfpack Verlis here, and this is apparently a very popular video in the comments. Got a lot of thumbs up, got a couple of comments saying how awesome the battle is, so I'm excited to see what ends up happening, and it just seems like this battle becomes a comical mess. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it, and going to keep Fan Fridays going with a lead of Jumpluff and Gengar versus the Espeon and Porygon Z. Okay, Espeon, how you handle this? Also, I like the Porygon Z. Porygon Z opens up a lot of crazy potential, but then we have this ridiculous Gengar just kind of sitting around, so the damages, the setups, could be crazy. Alright, so that's going to be Jumpluff Protect. We've seen Jumpluff do some crazy things on a lot of scales. That's going to be Gengar using Protect. I guess just going for that double scout, trying to see what happens. Espeon gets a free light screen because of it. And I think it's also like maybe scout out some other Protects, just really understand what the opponent's up to. And of course, there's Protect Disable coming from the Mega Gengar. So Ice Beam is going to... Oh, Disable Encore! That's just filthy. Now there is a turn of vulnerability, but it's just so fast because Jumpluff and Gengar are so stupidly fast. Okay, we get that Encore shut down, and then there's the Rage Powder, so you can only focus Jumpluff with your one Pokemon, but then there's a Perish Song. Oh, it's one of those hard gimmicks that you really can't do much against unless you predict it well. Like, if you kind of see this, I guess now it really works like you have to have seen the set before. Because if you see this, then you change up your moveset, that way you're encored into something you're not disabled in, and it at least works around that way. But then we see the Gengar, it's just going to Perish Trap, so switches out. There's not much you can do about that. And the Rage Powder means you can't even focus it. While Breloom comes in to go and start putting people to sleep while the other person's disabled. So, I mean, Espeon, yeah, it pretty much has to... Like, it can't even do anything. I was like, it has to get the call to hit the Pokemon switching in. Like, that Psychic on the Breloom would have been ferocious. And at least Jumpluff does go down from, like, the Psychic and the struggle. Porygon Z is losing a lot of its health to its own devices. Encore ends, Perish count drops, but I mean, that was like a safe in on Breloom, and then here comes Gengar, so I mean, we might see the double Protect again, and the only way to really beat it is to predict it. So, that's going to be a Psychic onto the Breloom, but with a strategy like this, I'm expecting the Focus Sash, which means that, you know, something's going to sleep, and the other thing's getting Protect disabled. So, there's your Spore. Can't hit the Espeon, because that thing carries too much Magic Bounce threat. So we're going to put it down the Porygon, and then it's great, because we know that Espeon wants to spam that Psychic. So withdraws the Breloom, just like, going to keep it safe. Pulls out the other Pokemon, which is Talonflame, just to make sure you blow your opponent up. That's going to be the substitute, just to make sure, like, everything's in check right now. Espeon still carrying through with that Psychic. Substitute's going to come up, that's a Disable, that's a Brave Bird. That's a lot of just... like, stupidity, because, I mean, Brave Bird, Porygon's down. Disable, that's going to hit Espeon. Like, just making sure nothing happens. Oh, or the Perish Song, that works too. So, the double KO on the Perish, Breloom at 1 hit point, Talonflame, a lot of threat. I think there was a Gallade. Gallade is going to be screwed against the Talonflame. Quick Guard on the Gallade, maybe, since it's doubles. Then we have Umbreon, but I mean, what's Umbreon going to do against 3 Pokemon? It's just one of those filth sets, man. Like, the Perish Song gimmicks are always the silliest to go up against. So, I mean, Mega Gallade, what can it do? Oh! How? What? That shouldn't have happened by any means. I want to know, like, what just... Okay, good. Thunder Punch follow-up. That's going to take out the Talonflame. Which means that, you know, if you can get that hit onto Breloom, it's not all over, because now Gengar can't switch out. The Miracle made it to where Gengar can't switch out, and the Confuse Ray is going to mean that, you know, Gengar might not be able to be as frustrating. If you can stall that sub, if you can stall that Protect for 1 turn, you might be okay. Now, we know that Breloom, it can just Mach Punch. That's going to be done right there. It depends on the opponent, if the opponent gets greedy, too, because, I mean, if Breloom just straight up protects, it might be able to buy some time, but no, he went for the greed, I feel. Because now, since Gengar hit itself, like, you can just focus down the Breloom, and that's going to cause a lot of problems for the opponent, because foul play, whatever damage, that's going to work out right there. And honestly, the battle ends right now, because if you think about it, the way that Perish Song works, and I think it's, let's see, sub, disable, Perish Song, protect. So that Gengar has no offensive moves. It can just disable the foul play. And then Umbreon, all it has to do is spam heal, even though the opponent doesn't have any damage moves. And the way the Perish Song works is that the fastest Pokemon to use it, like the fastest Pokemon on the field, is the one to drop first. So technically, this is already a victory, because there's nothing that can change. Perish Song drops on the Gengar. And that's one of the things about using Gengar as a Perish Pokemon, because it will faint first, but that just means it's like you have to have something else. You have to have a slower Pokemon next to it, or that's kind of it. So it counts as a victory, which is very surprising. Just the way, I think the greed, maybe, I'm trying to figure out like what could have happened to Breloom, because I mean, if Breloom used Protect, scouted out that focus, or the foul play, if Umbreon didn't have another offensive move, that could have been game right there. And that's the really interesting thing about this, because it might have been like Toxic Curse. It all depends on the Umbreon, but I think the greed, the opponent like misstepped, misunderstood that, you know, now he's the fastest thing on the field. He can't play around with that Perish anymore. So it's really crazy, these dynamics that you see in the game. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Nice little midpoint in our fan fries, and I hope you guys get ready for some more.